True Crime. I'm Josh,
I'm Jeffrey.
and we're back for episode 3. And today we're gonna do something a little different. We're gonna have it kind of like a podcast style, where y'all won't see us as much, but we have a lot of pictures and a lot of information to get through. So let's get in it.
Let's go. Today we're going to talk about the story of Jackie Vandergriff. Jackie was born on March the 4th, 1992 in Carrollton, Texas. She was the youngest of 2 daughters. She loved gymnastics growing up and went on to compete in State 5 competitions. Once Jackie was in high school, she became very active online. She was passionate about nutrition and wanted to help increase corporate wellness. After graduating from high school, she went on to college at Texas Women's University in Denton, Texas, where she would major in nutrition. She also became a licensed esthetician. She had a huge passion for promoting a healthy lifestyle and posted related articles online often. In 2016, she created her own self-synopsis video on YouTube. In this video, she says that she is a junior in college and will go on to say that her career aspirations are to be able to provide health resources for employees of businesses. She was a lifelong vegetarian and advocated for animal rights and loved to spend time traveling around the country with her family and friends.
On September 13, 2016, Jackie started looking for a part-time job. She applied at a bar named Fry Street Public House. While at this bar, she stayed to have a drink. This is when Jackie would meet a man named Charles and had drinks with him. They left together and went to another bar called Shots and Crafts. Surveillance footage captures the two along their way. They arrived there around 9 o'clock p.m. While at the bar, she had a few drinks with Charles. She even tweeted while at the bar, "I'm glad I decided to get off Tinder and walk to a bar." After this, it is shown that they had another drink and left together around 11 p.m. This is where the surveillance footage will end and the last time Jackie will be seen alive. She will return to his place and cell phone data will later confirm this. On September 14, 2016, at approximately 6:27 a.m., the Grapevine Police Department received multiple calls reporting a fire broken out in the Acorn Woods. Once firefighters and officers arrived on the scene, they quickly located and extinguished the fire, which was found at 1800 Black Acorn Woods Loop. First responders were completely shocked and frightened to find that at the center of the fire was a charred body in the middle of a blue plastic kiddie pool. The body had been dismembered, assorted in multiple trash bags, and the heart had been cut out. It has also appeared that an accelerant had been used to start the fire. In the beginning, no one knew who the body belonged to. However, the officers could tell it was the body of a young female adult. Officers also knew they clearly had a homicide on their hands. But luckily, some of the people who called in the fire stayed at the scene until the fire was out. These witnesses not only saw the fire, but they also saw who set the fire. They reported that he left the scene in a white SUV.
Officers will soon identify the vehicle and traced it back to Charles Bryant. Charles is a familiar face to the police. Charles was born August 8, 1986. He grew up in Bremerton, Washington, and later moved to Hassel, Texas. He held multiple short-term jobs. It is said that he spent most of his time at the gym and eating kale. He worked at a gay bar called the Urban Cowboy and trained a few clients at the local Procore Fitness gym. He had a criminal history, but nothing that would cause immediate concern. His criminal history included forgery in 2010 and possession of an illegal substance in 2013. In 2016, things had gotten worse due to him being arrested twice in the most recent week, which is how he was a familiar face to the police. 18-year-old Caitlin Mathis was a bartender and personal trainer living in the Denton area. In June of 2016, Caitlin would meet Charles at a bar. The two would begin to date very quickly after meeting. Caitlin said everything was great in the beginning. Caitlin was shy, soft, and delicate, while Charles, on the other hand, was said to be charming and outgoing.
However, after 3 weeks of dating, everything changed as Charles' true colors started to show. At the time, Charles is described as high maintenance, controlling, possessive, and nasty. He expected Caitlin to show her full and undisclosed attention to him. He told her on numerous occasions that he was the best that she would ever get. Caitlin said that his favorite topic of conversation was about himself. Once the fall semester began, Caitlin decided to focus on school and called the relationship off. They had only been dating a few months, but she was tired of arguing constantly, plus, she had seen numerous red flags. As she is trying to move on, Charles begins to blow up her phone with text messages that eventually turn aggressive. Once he realized that Caitlin wasn't affected by his messages, he goes to her dorm room and forces himself inside. This is where he would be arrested and banned from the campus. On September 6, 2016, which would have been their 3-month anniversary, he went back to the college with a bouquet of flowers and a 2-page love letter. Caitlin was terrified by his actions, so she hid in the closet and dialed 911. The police quickly arrived and arrested Charles. He was charged with stalking, but his deadly obsession would not stop there. 4 days after being bonded out of jail, his obsessive behavior would start again.
On September 13th, Charles would go to Fry Street Public House, which is right on the edge of Caitlin's restraining order and only a half a mile from her dorm. Charles spoke with his attorney, which he then learned that he was very likely to spend more time in jail. This put him in a bad mood, but it was unclear why Charles was at this bar and what his motives were. During his time at the bar, he is seen on security cameras speaking to several young women. The last girl that he was seen speaking to would be Jackie Vandergriff. This brings us back to the body being found in the woods. Police don't know who the body belongs to, but reports are starting to come in of 24-year-old Jackie Vandergriff being missing. As police start to investigate Jackie being missing, they find her last social media post was where she said she was at a bar. This tweet, as said earlier, was posted right before she left Schatz and Kraft's bar. After police review the security footage from the bar, it is confirmed that Jackie and Charles had met at the bar. On top of that, Charles made a Facebook status that said, "Teach you tricks that will blow your mind," at 11:56 p.m.
Detectives investigate Jackie's cell phone data, and it confirms that she was in the Fry Street area of Denton until 9:41 p.m. But at 11:57 p.m., her cell phone pinged at a cell tower near 377 south of I-35 East. The last time it pinged was at 1:32 a.m. from a tower located near 2084 Blue Mount Road in Hazlet, Texas. This is very close to Charles' residence on Sand Hills Drive. It is unclear as to what happened between 1 a.m. and 6 a.m., but we know at 6:27 a.m. the fire was reported revealing a body was found. After an autopsy, it confirmed everyone's fears. The body was identified to be Jackie Vandergriff. Charles wasn't on the run or hiding from police. He was very easy to find because he had violated his restraining order with Caitlin for a third time and had been arrested yet again. Detectives talked with Charles, and he denied that he ever knew Jackie or left the bar with her. He showed no remorse throughout the whole interrogation. Detectives said that Charles displayed characteristics of a serial killer and a narcissist. Charles eventually confessed to the murder. This confession, as well as the evidence, was enough to formally arrest him for the murder.
Charles's trial began in April of 2018, and things got very interesting. The security footage from Schatz and Kraft's bar, which linked Charles to Jackie on the night of her death. There was also tons more evidence that the prosecution had. They had satellite images of Charles's home showing a swimming pool in his backyard before Jackie's death. After her death, it is no longer there. However, there is a flattened patch of grass where it used to be. His neighbors also confirmed that Charles had a pool there in the weeks prior. The search warrant for his home will reveal a receipt from Walmart dated at 4:43 a.m. on the morning of Jackie's death. He bought a shovel and flu medicine. After checking the security footage from Walmart, it was confirmed that Charles made the purchase himself. Located outside of his garage, detectives find a blue trash can and find a black purse with Texas Women's University printed on it. The purse matches the purse that Jackie was seen with the night that she was killed. They also find a huge white plastic zip tie with blonde hair in the clasp. Later, DNA will prove that the hair belongs to Jackie. A military-style knife and a hacksaw were discovered, which later tested positive for Jackie's blood. Her phone was also found a short distance from his home. And to add to the mountain of evidence that they already had, the detectives allegedly found indecent images and videos of children on Charles's phone and computer. Charles had remained active on social media, posting "Full Moon, let's see what trouble I can get into" on Facebook September 16th, 2016. When searching Charles's vehicle, they discover a battery which belonged to Jackie's cell phone. Detectives also find a stun gun, which was later proven that it had Jackie's DNA on the electrodes.
Going back to the interrogation, Charles gave a detailed account of how he disposed of Jackie's body. He gave details that only the killer would know. However, when the trial began, Charles pleaded not guilty. He claimed that Jackie died accidentally during kinky sex in the back of his car. On the opening day of his trial, the defense claimed that Charles freaked out after her death and traveled to Walmart at 4 a.m. to buy a shovel to bury her body. His lawyer claims that he was only guilty of tampering with evidence. Charles had also used Jackie's phone one day after her death to tweet, "Never knew I could feel like this," on her Twitter account. One big witness for the prosecution is Charles' connection with Caitlin Mathis. However, the judge did not allow her to testify. She had already recently expressed that Charles was extremely intense as a partner. Caitlin said he always gave her flowers, especially if he had something to be sorry for.
Despite only being 18, Caitlin spotted his warning signs of controlling and manipulative behavior. He was a ticking time bomb, according to Caitlin. Caitlin also believes Charles was at the Fry Bar because she had talked about going there often while they were dating. So it is believed that his intentions were to find and kill Caitlin. Charles was sending letters and emails to Caitlin even after Jackie's death. The jury deliberated for only 2 hours before coming back with a verdict. On Monday, April the 6th, 2018, they found Charles Bryant guilty of the murder of Jackie Vandergriff. He was sentenced to 30 years before being eligible for parole. He was also found guilty of tampering with evidence. He is incarcerated at the William P. Bill Clement Unit. He is eligible for parole starting September 2046, but hopefully that will never happen. So, lucky for Caitlin, she saw all the warning signs early, but it could have been really bad for her, and unfortunately it became really bad for Jackie, who was, as Caitlin, innocent and everything. So
I feel like if it wasn't Jackie, it was going to be somebody else.
And a lot of people think that Caitlin and Jackie looked similar, so there'll be pictures up. Y'all can, judge for yourself on what you think. But a lot of people they see warning signs and they don't listen to their own gut feeling and watch for those warning signs. And
luckily she did. Which I feel like Jackie never had a chance to see warning signs or something like that because they had just met.
Right.
Which Caitlin and Charles knew each other for months. So that's the end of this video. Thank everybody for the feedback and case suggestions. And we're Husbands of True Crime. Peace.
Till next time. He was sentenced to 30 years. He was also found guilty of tampering